Totally wrong with what Kimo's running.
Thunderous, Terrakion, Mawile, Heatran, Suicune, and Venusaur. There is nothing there that you said.
He discussed using the same team who he's using. Because he decided not to.
And we see Firestorm on top, going to be running Gastrodon, Togekiss, Ferrothorn, Kangaskhan, Slowking, and Chandelure. Looks like a Trick Room team. Yeah,
definitely is. Chandelure and Slowking are there to set up. Ferrothorn and Gastrodon are there to be attacking, and Kangaskhan also useful attacking, but Kangaskhan and Togekiss there to help support that setup with Fake Out or Follow Me.
Kimo's team looks more like a read and react team, really. Just a bunch of good Pokemon that can match up well against Pokemon in the metagame.
And protecting a Venusaur, probably, that is going to be difficult for Rushan to deal with. If you look at his team, Venusaur will happily take Gastrodon, Togekiss, and Slowking one-on-one. I mean, it worries about the Air Slash from Togekiss, but Sludge Bomb's back.
And it also worries about Chandelure, because Venusaur doesn't really have a good way to touch Chandelure. I mean, Chandelure resists both grass and poison.
Yeah, he's gonna have to rely on something like his Suicune or Terrakion to take down the Chandelure for him.
For those just joining in, Kimo's team off-screen: Thunderous, Terrakion, Heatran, Mawile, Suicune, and Venusaur. Time is running out here.
Kimo deciding at the last second what to bring. So yeah, I think it's going to be important for Kimo to get rid of that Chandelure, like you were talking about. The Ferrothorn to Venusaur has no way to touch the Ferrothorn. If it's Leech Seed, Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, all of that's not going to do anything to Ferrothorn. So those are going to be two crucial Pokemon. And we already see the Heatran, which is the answer to the Ferrothorn.
And Slowking and Kangaskhan, so most likely Trick Room is going to be able to come up right now. Interesting to see that he brought Heatran, most likely trying to beat that Ferrothorn in the back, if anything. Maybe it has a surprise hidden power grass, maybe it has a Solar Beam, I don't really know.
But yeah, I think he definitely wants it to beat that Ferrothorn, but it's a terrible Pokemon against the rest of Rushan's roster, which is probably why Kimo was struggling with what to pick there. He was conflicted on whether to bring Heatran for that safety against Ferrothorn and knowing it would be bad against 3 out of 4 Pokemon. So I think it's an interesting call here for Rushan what to fake out. He can protect his Slowking more by faking out the Venusaur, protect his Kangaskhan more by faking out the Heatran.
Right. One of the things to note, he did switch back to Slowking. I remember Rushan using Mega Slowbro for the longest time, and one of the cool things about going back to Mega Slowking, no, not Mega Slowking, is Slowking in general, is just now you can also have that Mega partnered up with it, right? And there you see Kangaskhan, the Mega Kangaskhan going for the fake out on the Venusaur. Going to do a good amount of damage to that Venusaur, and Heatran goes for the overheat, going to try to take down that Kangaskhan. I would not mind that trade at all, as Kangaskhan hangs on and Slowking's going to be able to get out of the Trick Room.
So I think that probably does KO Force HP 252 speed Kangaskhan's, which is what Kimo's used to playing against, but this is Trick Room. That Kangaskhan, there's no reason to invest in speed. That's all on HP, which is why it just survived that overheat.
I actually don't mind that move, even though Rushan decided not to go for the Trick Room. You know, now Kangaskhan can knock out that Venusaur, and Slowking applies a lot of pressure to that Heatran.
Yeah, the thing about that Kangaskhan being slow enough to survive that overheat is it may actually be slower than Heatran, or Venusaur, which would have made Trick Room helpful. We'll see.
Oh, Heatran does outspeed that Kangaskhan. Gonna go for the overheat onto Kangaskhan and pick up the knockout. Heatran right now at -4, unfortunately, and Venusaur's gonna be able to Giga Drain back its health.
Yeah, it was a nice thought from Rushan going for that Psychic early, but I think that...
just for the Leech Seed instead. That could be... that. Oh, now it goes for the Trick Room. I would prefer the Trick Room turn before.
Right, I think it was a nice thought, and I think Venusaur's trying to dodge a Sucker Punch is the reason it Leech Seeded instead of going for a Giga Drain.
Right.
But then the Leech Seed missed, so Rushan's still in a good position here. The Venusaur was the biggest thing for him to deal with, and now it's at low enough health that Psychic Earth Power is clearly a double knockout, and it's going to take a lot for Kimo to back himself out of that while dealing with Trick Room.
You don't even need that. You can just surf, double surf in muddy water.
I'd be scared of whether or not that surf KOs Venusaur. I'd rather just Psychic, because if you allow a Giga Drain to Gastrodon, not only will it KO it, it will heal that Venusaur back a ton.
That's fair enough. I still think the surf is a better play, although I guess Heatran doesn't have anything to touch. At -4, you're right. Just leave it alone. Just go for that. Knock out that Venusaur.
Surf, maybe Surf and Earth Power on Venusaur would be great. Just take the knockout of Venusaur and leave the Heatran.
Which we do see Heatran switch out.
Yeah. Got to get the -4 thing out.
Smart goes straight into Suicune. Suicune gonna go ahead and wall really anything that Slowking and
Well, it'll wall for a while, but if Gastrodon gets a couple special attack boosts, those Earth Powers will start to hurt a lot.
Right, Slowking does go straight for the Surf. Going to boost Gastrodon's Storm Drain, one of Rushan's favorite strategies. Just keep surfing into the Storm Drain. Going to hit that Suicune for a little bit of chip damage. Not really too much to worry about as Gastrodon goes for the Earth Power into the Venusaur.
The most relevant thing for that turn is the +1 special attack for Gastrodon. Now, by the time Gastrodon attacks, it probably will be +2 special attack, and you can rely on a Surf and a Muddy Water most likely, which allows you to put even more damage on Suicune. And Suicune walls all these water attacks pretty well, but it's not going to do much back. The standard set for Suicune is something like Scald, Ice Beam, Tailwind,
Snarl.
Snarl would be helpful, but it will just undo one turn of the Surf on Gastrodon, and none of the rest of that will do anything. So, Suicune is kind of just sitting there buying time, which is what you need against Trick Room, but the other spot's going to take a lot of damage while Suicune buys that time.
We do see Heatran come in. Interesting switch right there. Slowking goes for the Psychic, going to target down the Heatran. I guess that was actually a pretty good switch then in Kimo's case. Not very effective damage as Gastrodon goes for the Earth Power double target. Oh, just goes for the Suicune instead.
Yeah.
Still a good amount of damage as Suicune does go for the Snarl. We see one of those Dark Berries activate on Slowking.
Yeah, worried about things like Crunch and Knockoff.
Right.
There you see Rushan traded, instead of getting another special attack boost with Gastrodon, he went for what would be more damage on the field. The Psychic would KO the Venusaur, and the Earth Power would do more than 2 water moves would do to Suicune. And it did a big chunk, but now that special attack means Gastrodon is back to neutral, and Slowking's at -1. He can still get the knockout on Heatran with Earth Power, clearly, but it's going to be a little harder to take down Suicune now.
Yeah.
I would expect to see now you Surf Earth Power. The Surf won't KO Heatran, but I don't know that you have to be that worried about Heatran. You've seen Overheat. If you think there's going to be Heat Wave and Earth Power crucial, you don't have to worry about HP Grass then. And if you're not worried about HP Grass, you don't have to worry about Heatran.
Right, and an additional, the Surf Chip and the +1 Earth Power should be able to do enough damage to knock out the Suicune. Heatran, not too much to worry about. Don't think it's going to be able to do too much work against Gastrodon and Slowking, as Gastrodon does go for the Earth Power. Is it going to be enough to knock it out? Does pick up the knockout on. I don't think the critical hit mattered.
I don't know that it mattered either.
I don't think it mattered.
It's interesting here. Normally you see Trick Room winning because of its offensive presence. The offense has obviously been huge, but this has way more to do with the fact that Kimo's Heatran and Suicune, they can't do anything to touch these Pokemon. And his Pokemon that can touch them are forced out by that offensive pressure. It's the balance of the bulk and typing of Gastrodon and Slowking with that offensive presence. Because now a Surf and an Earth Power KOs both again, and even if he double protects it, it's another turn of +1.
Right. I think Trick Room's going to expire after this turn, so I wouldn't be surprised to see.
I would expect to see double protect, which is going to set up a really interesting decision for Kimo and what to Giga Drain. If he doesn't Giga Drain Gastrodon and it KOs Venusaur, it's going to be a problem. If he doesn't, but if Gastrodon protects and Slowking just puts up a second Trick Room, the game's most likely over. I know that's looking ahead a little bit, but I think it's going to be a really crucial pivot point here of who can take control of this game.
Right. Rushan going to go ahead and withdraw Slowking.
Regenerator.
Oh yeah, it does get regenerated.
That should allow it to survive a Giga Drain. Also brings in a different Trick Room setter.
Right. Going to go straight into Chandelure. Yeah, that's a little bit better position. I don't think Venusaur has anything that can knock out Chandelure with the help of Heatran, right?
But Earth Power from Heatran will do a good amount to get Chandelure. I don't think it'll get the knockout, but maybe combined with a Sludge Bomb it could.
Right.
But again, you're opening yourself up to a knockout from Gastrodon if it doesn't protect. So I think that's still an important decision of whether you double target the Chandelure or you do fire the Giga Drain at Gastrodon and predict Rushan to try to sneak in an Earth Power this turn.
I think right now Rushan's in control.
Yeah, it would take a knockout on Chandelure and a protect on Gastrodon to really put Kimo back in this game.
Maybe a critical hit on that Earth Power to the Chandelure.
Hopefully Chandelure, I don't know, Chandelure is commonly Focus Sash as a Trick Room setter, which would mean even a crit wouldn't matter without double targeting it. I don't know for sure that that's the case, but it's a pretty common thing to see.
That's true. Gastrodon going to go ahead and protect itself this turn. It looks like another free Trick Room's actually going to get to come up.
Let's see.
Heatran goes for the Earth Power, going to target down that Chandelure.
What this Venusaur does is going to be so crucial, and just like I was talking about.
Chandelure down to Sash. Venusaur, what is it going to go for? Heatran almost on the brink of knockout from the Life Orb. Venusaur goes for the Giga Drain, goes for the Chandelure, picks it up.
So made the call. That's what I was. That's the crucial choice that I was waiting for, and Kimo got it right. And so because Rushan went for the Protect Trick Room, but now he can just turn around and do the same thing again next turn because of Slowking. He can't Protect now, but he can switch Gastro or something, and he can't switch it.
No Pokemon left.
Oh,
wow.
wow.
No Regenerator either.
Yeah.
So...
this is suddenly a pretty good position for Kimo. He's going to get a Giga Drain on Gastrodon, which will heal that Venusaur significantly. Trick Room will still go up, putting it back in risk of getting Psychic, but it'll be helpful.
I think Slowking actually might be in range for a Earth Power and Giga Drain knockout.
I would rather have the Giga Drain on Gastro, knowing you're going to get it.
Possibly, Heatran does go for the Earth Power. Going to bring Slowking down all the way to the red with a critical hit. Heatran does knock itself out.
So I think here, even if you get the knockout on Slowking, if Gastrodon knocks this back out,
Venusaur goes for the Giga Drain on Gastrodon, going to pick up the knockout right there. And
that's game.
Kimo still has one more Pokemon in back,
right?
Too.
Yeah. So if Slowking doesn't have Surf, but Surf clearly can't KO Venusaur, and so Rushan won't be able to take out both, and will be stuck doing one or the other.
Right. Well, I would have definitely preferred to see Rushan go for a double protect on the Gastrodon.
Yeah, I think that was necessary. But you mentioned going after the double target on Slowking. If Rushan had done that, and we'd gotten down to a 1v1 of full health Gastrodon and full health Tracheon, I think Gastrodon wins that.
Gastrodon would have pulled that off. I mean, in close combat is all Toraken really has to hit it. And yeah.
And I think Rushan was thinking that might be what was about to happen.
And we do see Rushan get his Slowking knocked out, and that is it.
So it all came down to the turn.
TFC is going to go ahead and move on to the 6-1 here at the 2015 Northwest Regional Championships. Rushan is going to drop down to 5-2, and he is going to need to win one more.